had just anxiety, really. I was nervous that if I went to social occasions, like I hang out with friends, that I wouldn't be able to eat the exact meal that I needed to eat, and that created a lot of nervousness, anxiety, which actually diminished the quality of my life. Hi there, and thank you for tuning into my channel. My name is Tsepang Boe. I am a food and body image coach, and on this channel my aim is to help women like yourself overcome disordered eating and have a healthy relationship with food and their body. So today I'm going to be sharing my experience with orthorexia, and if you don't know what that is, you should definitely stay tuned to the video. And I'm also going to be sharing 4 things I learned from recovering from orthorexia, so that if you're going through a similar experience, you could possibly learn from what I learned from, and that could help you with your healing journey. Just BTW, I also have a cold right now, so you might hear my voice getting a little bit croaky, but don't let that disturb you. So firstly, what is orthorexia? So I've got a definition here from the National Eating Disorders Association on my laptop. So it says, although not formally recognized in the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual, awareness about orthorexia is on the rise. The term orthorexia was coined in 1998 and means an obsession with proper or healthful eating. Although being aware of and concerned with the nutritional quality of the food you eat isn't a problem in and of itself, people with orthorexia become so fixated on so-called healthy eating that they actually damage their own well-being. So in summary, orthorexia is an obsession with healthy eating, but in my experience and also with other experiences that I've seen online, it extends beyond just healthy eating and can also go into your exercise patterns. So let me tell you a little bit about what I went through when I went through orthorexia. So essentially, I started out in 2017 on a mission to lose weight. I'd gained some weight in boarding school and in first year of university, and I just wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy also with just how I felt in general. I felt like I could be taking better care of my health. And because of the diet culture that we live in, health and weight loss are often equated, which is not necessarily true, right? You could lose weight in very unhealthy ways, which, as I'm about to share with you, you'll realize that some of what I did was totally unhealthy. So essentially, like I said, I was going on a weight loss journey. I found a workout plan where I was working out 6 times a week, and then I also found a corresponding eating plan that was by the same personal trainer online. And so I started eating according to her meal plan, and at first it was working for me. I felt really great. My energy levels shot up. Like, I was just feeling so healthy and so proud of myself, and the workouts were also challenging me, and I felt great because I was not a sporty kid. So it just helped me feel like, ooh, I can be strong and I can be fit and stuff like that. But eventually it snowballed into an obsession with sticking to my meal plan and an obsession with sticking to my exercise plan. And the fears that I developed were that if I don't work out, I'm immediately just gonna gain weight. I'm not going to be able to lose the weight that I want, and I'm not going to gain the self-confidence that I want to gain. And in terms of food, I had just anxiety, really, about the foods that I was eating. I was nervous that if I went to social occasions, like I hang out with friends, that I wouldn't be able to eat the exact meal that I needed to eat on that particular occasion, and that created a lot of nervousness, anxiety, which actually diminished the quality of my life. So pretty much after like a year or a year and a half of being on this weight loss health journey, my life started to revolve around my efforts to get healthy and lose weight. And even people around me started knowing me as like being this healthy girl, which is not a bad thing to influence people, but it's also like my sense of identity started coming from that, and that for me wasn't a good thing. So overall, it just started to decrease my quality of life, created some social anxiety for me, which also indicates that it was not good for my mental health. So what are some things that I learned in recovering from the orthorexia? So what I did was I eventually realized that I had a problem. I felt really badly about myself if I just didn't eat in the way that I wanted to. I was experiencing some binge eating because of the restriction. So I decided to see a food therapist. And one of the key things that I will always keep from that experience was that so much of my orthorexia was rooted in perfectionism. So this is the first lesson that I learned. I had to overcome my inner perfectionist and start being kinder to myself. So a lot of people who are A-type personalities, like I have a bit of an A-type personality, can be really hard on themselves and try to stick to their goals 100% of the time, but that's not realistic because things change, life changes, right? You're not always going to be able to do exactly what you planned. And also on the flip side of that is that when you don't manage to do what you planned to do, eat the meals or hit those 6 workouts in the week, you end up just beating yourself up really badly, and your sense of identity that you built around those habits begins to crash. So you end up kind of with an identity crisis. So I had to kind of learn to overcome that perfectionist, work on some positive self-talk, and also start unraveling my identity from being the healthy girl. The second thing that I learned is that health is not just physical. Like, I'm a strong believer in the mind-body connection. I learned about this from podcasts, but also in the health coach training program that I did with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, that the mind and the body are connected. So if your body is not feeling well, perhaps you haven't been able to exercise, you haven't been able to feed yourself properly, that's also going to affect your mental health, right? And another concept that links to that is the gut-brain axis, particularly, let's say, from a nutritional point of view. If you're not feeding yourself very well, it affects your mind because of the gut-brain axis. But also on the flip side, if you're being super hard on yourself to meet your rigid food rules all the time and your health goals all the time, then that can also, like I said, in my personal experience, start to diminish your quality of life. You can start developing anxiety. So I realized that in trying to be so perfect, it was actually starting to erode my mental health, and health is overall. So if you are becoming stressed because of your restrictions that you place on yourself and you're not able to keep those up, that actually has a physical effect in your body of increasing your stress hormones. And we know that if you're not managing your stress properly, that's not good for your body on a physical and mental health level. So I learned that health is holistic. It's not just about taking care of your body, but also about taking care of your mind and your emotions, and also yourself spiritually. The third thing that I learned is that life is meant to be enjoyed. Your life cannot revolve around being healthy. This took me so long to learn. Like, it's something that I still even have to remind myself of right now. Basically, sacrifice is a principle in life. You're not always going to be able to have it all. So, for example, you might have like a family thing or a thing with your friends, and you have to make a decision of, am I in that moment, this special occasion with the people I love, going to be not present because I'm trying to stick to my meal requirements 100%, or am I just gonna relax those requirements a little bit so that I can be in the moment and enjoy the people I'm with, right? That's an example of a sacrifice that you might have to make so that you could feed yourself in another aspect of your life. Obviously, this doesn't hold if you have like a serious condition and you just cannot make those compromises. But that's just an example of how your life does not revolve around your health. The fourth thing that relates to this point number 3 is that you do not have to be perfect to be healthy. Your health isn't made up of eating the perfect meal every day, the whole week, the whole year, for your whole life. Health is an overall average sum of your lifestyle behaviors. So you don't have to be worried about always eating the perfect meal or always getting in those number of workouts that you want to get in. Just focus on keeping yourself well, and wellness also looks different in different seasons of your life. Sometimes you have to prioritize just different aspects of your health, and it's also really personal to you, right? So it's not something that you have to be so fixated on, so obsessed about all the time. So those were like the 4 lessons that I learned in recovering from orthorexia. And like I said, these are things that I still have to remind myself of, because we live in a world that portrays health and wellness and, the overall diet culture in a specific way that can make you feel like I'm not doing good enough because I didn't do XYZ today, or I haven't done ABC in a month, you know what I mean? So I'm constantly having to remind myself these things, but I am honestly in so much of a better place. I would say in the past 3 years of my wellness journey, having recovered from orthorexia, I have a much healthier relationship with food, and I also have a much healthier relationship with my body. So I hope that you were able to find, this me sharing my experience helpful, and sharing the 4 things that I learned helpful for you. And in another video, I will talk about how to identify if you have some orthorexic symptoms, regarding your relationship with food and maybe even your exercise habits. So I hope that you found that useful. And just before I go, I also have an emotional eating workbook and food journal that you can download if emotional eating is something that you are working through. Actually, in the past 2 weeks, I did a workshop, a very small group coaching workshop for free. And one of the things that came up the most strongly in that workshop was that the women are struggling with emotional eating. So that's why I'm sharing this workbook with you, even though it's a bit different from what we were talking about in today's video. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share this video with just one person. You have no idea how much that will help me. And drop a comment below. Let me know who you are, what's your name, and what's your top reason for watching this channel. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.